Hello students, welcome to the online class for automobile component design. This subject is present in your 5th semester diploma syllabus for automobile engineering department. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Tanmoy Kundu, Assistant Professor, Department of Automobile Engineering, Dr. Sudhir Chandra Sur Degree Engineering College, Kolkata. Here you find this is the course objective. So to impart knowledge of fundamental concept of machine design applied to automobile components, to impart exposure to standard course of practice, CAD and use of design handbook, to impart knowledge concerned to automobile component design. Now you find there are total 4 course outcomes are there. So at the end of this course, students will be able to analyze, identify and use these following important course outcomes. So let us start our today's session, that is Introduction to Machine Design Part B. Now in the previous lectures I have already covered the part A of the introduction part. Okay, in the part A of the introduction. Now in that part we have already gone through the different concepts, that what do you mean by machine design, okay, and what are the different aspects that we have to remember to design any machine component. And there are several other important parameters that basically guide a design for a machine component. Now today we will basically discuss the post design aspect. That means there are a few aspects that we must have to consider even after the mathematical calculations and other formulations have been over. So this is why it is called the post design aspect. Now in that post design aspect, important criteria like aesthetic consideration, ergonomic considerations. So these are the important part that will come into this particular course. Now first of all we will start with the aesthetic consideration. Now what is aesthetic? So you know, aesthetic means it is beauty, how it looks like. Okay, so it beautiness actually designates the term aesthetic. Okay, so whatever the machine component you are actually designing, so from aesthetic respect, from the aesthetic point of view, we also have to think about, because now after designing it will be going through the shop floor and it will be manufactured. Now a consumer, being a consumer or being a customer, everybody has particular criteria that this particular body should be looked like this. Okay, so everybody needs the aesthetic beauty of a product. Okay, now what happen if a product is very much very good performer, and what happen if a product is very useful and its what happen durability is very high, its life is very high, but it has only one limitation, like aesthetic beauty is not as good as per the customer needs. So that is why what will happen, that customer will not grant this product anymore. So that is why in order to attract more customers by the aesthetic beauty of that product, we need to focus on the aesthetic consideration of any machine design component or any machine component. Okay, now because of the product, it is not only for the machine component but also for any individual any daily need or any sort of product which is which is very fabulous for all of us, that is very much need, or it can fulfill our daily necessity. So every kind of product that we are actually designing. Okay, so from the point of view of the aesthetic sense, we have to give much more power on the aesthetic sense. Okay, now in a present day of buyer's market, with a number of products available in the market are having most of the parameters identical, the appearance of the product is often a major factor in attracting the customer. So what is that? What happened, like you are purchasing like a induction heater, okay, or any induction cooker, that you know. So what happened, every induction cooker has the same function, the physics behind it for every company that is manufacturing the industry that particular product, okay, that induction cooker. So everybody uses the same philosophy of the physics, and also they are also can guarantee, every particular company guarantee you the life cycle or the performance. But what happened, the difference is in the aesthetic beauty. Okay, so one company has prepared that product with some appearance, another company has produced the same product with a different appearance. So what will happen, now customer will prefer that appearance only which will be looked aesthetically beautiful. Okay, so that is why in this buyers market, where every particular component, for every particular component there is a huge competition, so every competitor wants that his product should be purchased by the customers as much as possible. Okay, now this is particularly true for the consumers durable like automobiles, domestic refrigerators and televisions, etc. Now aesthetics is defined as the set of principles of appreciation of beauty. It deals with the appearance of the product. So in short we can say that aesthetic means it's a simple appearance. The appearance is an outward expression of quality of the product and is the fast communication of the product with the user. So it is very important that now you visit a market, okay, and you have gone to a particular shop. Okay, now you see that there are several types of identical products are available, like if you are purchasing, if you want to purchase a refrigerator from a shop, so you can find in a shop there are several types of refrigerators are there from different manufacturers. Okay, now first of all, what will attract any customer, so that is the beauty, that is the appearance of the product. Now if the appearance of the product is very much high, very much skilled, so obviously the customer will be attract much more towards this particular product. Okay, so beauty, the appearance is the first and foremost criteria for any product to attract a customer. Okay, now for any product there exists a relationship between the functional requirement and the appearance of the product. Okay, so obviously what will happen, so everybody wants to make a relationship like between the functional requirement and the appearance. Like if I have visited one refrigerator shop and I am really very much shocked to look a refrigerator manufacturer which is very nice in aesthetically beautiful. Next, so this is my first criteria, that this product looks very beautiful, so definitely I am going to purchase that. But parallelly, simultaneously I have to check whether this product will meet my purpose or not. So this is the first and second two criteria. First criteria, that will attract the customers, so that is the beauty or the appearance or the aesthetic. Okay, and the second thing is that whether this aesthetic product, aesthetically beautiful product, can fulfill my demand. So this is the second criteria to purchase a product. Now the aesthetic quality contributes to the performance of the product, though the extent of the contribution varies from product to product. That means, so any aesthetically quality, what is the definition of quality? So here very important term is coming, quality. Okay, so quality can be judged not only by the aesthetic beauty, it will be judged by the performance of the product also. Okay, now I have visited one seller shop and I am very much attracted towards a particular manufacturer's product, but ultimately what happened, that after using it 1 month and 2 months, it becomes totally obsolete. Okay, the product becomes out of order. So what happened, so its utility has been completely lost. So important parameters, two important parameters are, the product shall be aesthetically beautiful, parallelly this product must fulfill my all the requirement as per my need, and also its durability, its service life should be as much as possible. So these are the all different requirements from a customer, and a manufacturer must have to fulfill all the requirements of a customer. Okay, for example, the chromium plating of automobile components improves the corrosion resistance along with the appearance. Okay, now what happened in there are few automobile products, what happened, which are made by the corrosion. Okay, corrosion is the chromium is the alloying element. Okay, and corrosion is the weather phenomena. What happened, that after using it for a longer period of time, so that product might be subjected to corrodate. Okay, so this happens due to the effect of the water vapor present in the atmosphere and the atmospheric oxygen. Okay, so these two particular things which will tend to move the product in a corroded environment. So in order to prevent that corrosion, there are few mechanical components, few automobile components, okay, many electrical components, and made of the alloy, any particular suitable alloy. Okay, so these alloy is particularly made of the chromium. So chromium basically improves the corrosion resistance of a particular component. Okay, so what happen if you are plating one component by the chromium, so that product will be aesthetically beautiful. Not only aesthetically beautiful, it will also become corrosion free. Okay, so its service life will be improved. Similarly, the aerodynamic shape of the car improves the performance as well as gives the pleasing appearance. So aerodynamic shape, this aerodynamic shape not only improves the product's performance, but it will also improve the aesthetic beauty of that product. So obviously one single output, but its objectives are two types. Okay, one objective is that it becomes aesthetically beautiful. Another objective is that it will give the more durability and more functionality into the product. Okay, so we are applying just only individual concept, and that concept is helping me to get out the two necessary requirements. Okay, now the following guidelines may be used in the aesthetic design for appearance. The appearance should contribute to the performance of the product. For example, aerodynamic shape of the car will have a lesser air resistance, resulting the lesser fuel consumption. Okay, so this part is very important, that aerodynamic shape of any car. What happen if you make a car by in the aerodynamic shape, so what will happen, the fuel consumption will become less, and also this car will look like a very beautiful one. Okay, now the appearance should reflect the function of the product. Okay, so that is the important thing, that and not only you want to make a product aesthetically beautiful, but you have to think twice that whether this aesthetic beautiful product can also meet my functional requirement. Okay, so this point I am always putting stress on this, that if you are a designer, you have to design a product in such a way that this product must be aesthetically beautiful, and also it will be very much familiar to a customer. So it's necessary, the customer necessities, the customer's demands, the functionalities can be easily improved. Okay, now for appearance, the appearance should reflect the quality of the product. Now next term is the quality. If that product is aesthetically beautiful, or its appearance is good, and also it meets the functional requirement of a product, it gives the higher durability, so obviously it will be called as a quality product. Okay, for example, the robust and heavy appearance of a hydraulic press reflects its strength and rigidity. The appearance should not be at too much of extra cost unless it is a prime requirement. This is very important, but at the end what matters, the cost matters, because what happened that everybody wants a product at a very reasonable cost. Okay, so costing is a very important phenomenon. Now if you as a designer, you have designed a very quality product, it looks like aesthetically beautiful, it meets the quality requirements. Okay, it meets the functional requirements, it gives you the higher durability, higher service life, but at the end its cost become very high, so customer will not prefer that product because with respect to the costing, because at the end the costing really matters. So as a designer, you have to make your design in such a way that it will fulfill the customer needs, it will be aesthetically beautiful, and but also it should be available at a very reasonable price in the market, so that customers, all the different category of customers, can afford that. Now the appearance should be suitable to the environment in which the product is used. Okay, so environment means like we are now staying in India. Okay, so it is a basically a summer continent. Okay, now if the same product is very much useful for the western continent, so that part I have to once again check whether my product that is basically used for the summer continent, okay, the where most of the time the season is very hot, but in the western environment where happen the where the most of the time the season is very cold, okay. So we have to design our product keeping that keeping that sense that whether this particular product should be useful in the hot environment or those cold environment, whether there is any weather kind of phenomena. So these are the weather parameters we have to check once again while designing. Now at any stage in the product, the aesthetic quality cannot be separated from the product quality. So in if you are defining the quality of a product, so in that definition the aesthetic of a product, the appearance must be included in the definition of quality, okay. So we can see at the very last we can say as a conclusion that aesthetic beauty or appearance of the product must be within the definition of a quality parameter, quality product, okay. Now the growing importance of the aesthetic consideration in the product design has been raised to separate discipline is known as the industrial design, okay. So all those particular chapters, all those particular contents that I have right now discussed, so in broad sense these contents are coming under the subject, under the discipline industrial design. The job of an industrial designer is to create a new shape and forms for the product which are aesthetically appealing, okay. Next term is that form. So that is coming within the that there are very important criteria, or there are several other criteria that will be bound within the concept of aesthetic considerations, okay. So form is basically a part of aesthetic. How it is that? So there are 5 basic forms of the product, namely steep, taper, shear, streamline, sculpture, and as soon as all those things are shown in the figure. Now sculpture, this particular term most of you have known that, okay. Now the external shape of any product is based on one or combination of this basic form. That means like taper, if a product is made of taper, so not only that it is having only the taper part, it may be step type taper, okay, it may be shear type taper, streamline taper, okay, sculpture. So all those particular combinations may be there in a form. So first one is the step form. The step form is a stepped structure having vertical ascent. It is similar to the shape of multi-story building. So let us look at this. Look at this. So this is the step form, okay, this is step form. Second we see taper form, how it looks, as you know taper, so this is the taper, okay. Third one is the shear form, how it looks, this is the shear form, okay. Streamline form, the streamline form has a streamlined shape having a smooth flow as seen in the automobile and aeroplane structures. How is that? This is the streamlined structure, okay. Then sculpture form. So sculpture form consists of ellipsoid or the paraboloids and the hyperboloids, okay. So parabola, hyperbola, elliptical shapes are there in the sculpture. So this looks like a sculpture, okay. Now the sculpture and the stream forms are suitable for mobile products like vehicle, then while step and shear forms are suitable for stationary product, okay. These parts are that you can just go through and you can have your own idea, own thought to implement, and you can use your own language while such questions may come in the exam, okay. So you can use your own thought, own expressions, okay. So there is no need, that is not hard and fast rule that all those particular line by line points that are mentioned in the study material, so you have to follow. That is not that. You can use your own thought. There is no way, there is no any particular sort of, you can say, interruptions are there, okay. Though no hard and fast rule. Basically this part is absolutely theoretical, so as it is a theoretical part, you can use your own thought, own statements, or your own sentence. Now next come to the color, okay. Color is obviously a very important part in the aesthetic considerations. So color is one of the major contributors to the aesthetic appeal of the product. Many colors are linked with different moods and conditions. the selection of colors should be compatible with the conventions. Morgan has suggested the color code of different component, different tables. So like here you see that for this particular table such different components or different climatological effects can be seen like this. Okay, like danger or hazard or any hot environment means any climate which is having the hot environment, hot phenomena. So that part will be denoted by the red color. Red color means it denotes the danger or any hazard. Orange color means possible danger. Yellow means caution. Green means safety. Blue means caution cold. Gray means dull. Okay, these are the all different color codes for different environments or different machine components. Next is the material and surface finish. The material and surface finish of the product contribute significantly to the appearance. Okay, the material like stainless steel gives better appearance than the cast iron. Obviously, if you are making a product by the cast iron, so if it is aesthetically, if it is given like 4 out of 5, but if you are making the same product in the stainless steel by the stainless steel material, so obviously you will give it 5 out of 5, because if you are making a product by the stainless steel, it looks very nice. Okay, and in that case aesthetically the product will be very much superior. Now plain also the stainless steel, it looks like compared to the cast iron, plain carbon steel, low alloy steel. Okay, now in case of the stainless steel, what is the good thing about stainless steel? First of all, as I have told, any quality product must have to satisfy the aesthetic beauty, and also it should be functionally very much superior. So the same condition happens in the stainless steel. If you are making a product by the stainless steel material, what will happen? This product will be looked very beautiful, and also the product will become superior in terms of the functional requirements and also its durability. Because what happens, stainless steel, in the stainless steel a chromium is present. Chromium is present as an alloy steel. Okay, it is a basically alloy steel. So chromium is present as an alloying metal. So if any metal is having a constituent like chromium, so it will become aesthetically beautiful, and also it will become corrosion free. So the same thing happens in the stainless steel also, as stainless steel is a alloying metal or alloying ferrous metal, where chromium is present as an alloying element. So obviously stainless steel, if a product is made of the stainless steel, its appearance will be very much good, and also its functional requirements or any other durability will become high. So that means the product made of the stainless steel will become much more qualityful than other products, than the same product which is made of other metals like cast iron, plain carbon steel. Like the brass or bronze give the richness to the appearance of the product. So as you know, brass or bronze. So, okay, so if you are making a product using the brass or bronze, so quite obviously it will be look nice. The product of the better surface finish are always aesthetically pleasing. Now you are making a product, so at the end of the manufacturing or at the end of a forming process, what happen, we often ask you to make the product make the surface of that product very much smooth. Okay, so that is why we generally suggest you to use the hand grinder, so that if there is any rough component or any hazy thing present on the surface of that product, so it will be totally removed. Okay, and the finish of that surface will become very nice. Okay, so if any product, if it looks if it is having the better surface finish, so it will attract the customers in the much more sense. The surface coating process like spray painting, anodize, electroplating, so these are the different types of coating process. These coating process are applying on the surface itself to give it much more aesthetic beauty. So greatly enhance the aesthetic appeal of the product. Okay, so these are the different surface coating which can be used to enhance the aesthetic beauty of the product. Next important part, so now I have already discussed the important aesthetic consideration. Next is the ergonomic considerations. Okay, so what is ergonomic? Now we should know that ergonomics is defined as the scientific study of the man-machine working environment relationship. This is very important, man, machine and working environment. Okay, so there there is a very small chain relation between the man, machine and the working environment. Now within three particular components, if one component fails to operate, so this chain will break, and obviously this part will not be considered as a very superior in terms of the ergonomics. So if any product needs to be ergonomically very much graceful, so this particular man machine working environment chain should be carried on very sophisticatedly and very handfully. Okay, the applications of anatomical, physiological and psychological principles to solve the problems arising from the relationship. The word ergonomics is from the two Greek word. One is ergon. Ergon means work, and nomos. Nomos means this is natural law. Okay, so work has to be carried on by the natural means. Okay, that means the natural means what is the working atmosphere environment we are providing, so that the man can easily operate with a machine. Machine means if a man is working, if a operator is working with a lathe machine, or any particular any person who is sitting at the desk with a computer, so the computer behaves like a machine, and there must be a proper relationship between the man and machine, and the atmosphere we are providing, like the operator is working in the lathe machine. Okay, now what happened, that certainly the atmosphere becomes very hot and humid, so it will be very difficult enough for him to operate in that atmosphere and to work with the lathe machine. Certainly what happened, a person who is working in a desk with his computer or with his desktop, what happened, if you are providing him very cool environment, so it will not be easy enough for him to operate in that environment, to carry on his work in the machine in that particular environment. So obviously when a person is working with a machine, this is our duty, or this is the duty of the company itself, or the institute itself, so that that particular person can work with this machine with a very handful and very handy situations. Okay, and very comfortable environment. Now the final objective of the ergonomics is to make the machine fit for user, rather than to make the user adapt himself or herself to the machine. That means whatever the machine we are using, that must be user friendly. Okay, like what happened, if a operator who is not at all skilled, so if that machine is very hard to work, very hard to handle, so obviously that unskilled person will not be able to work with it. So whatever the design we are making, okay, that design should be very much user friendly for any particular person who is not so capable to use that product. So that our design must be very much user friendly for all generations. Okay, so that is the very important part in design. Okay, now it aims at decreasing the physical and mental stress. So what is that physical and mental stress? Now if I am now working with a CNC machine. Okay, now what happened, the CNC machine basically requires some skill levels. Okay, but I am not skilled at all. So I have been devoted in a particular organization. Okay, I have got job in a particular organization to operate a CNC machine, but I don't have any skill to operate a CNC. So what will happen, at the very beginning, I shall not get the comfort, I shall not get the confidence to work with the CNC. Obviously this will create much pressure on me. Okay, that pressure will be a mental stress. And what happened, that in order to work that machine properly, what happened, we have to first of all we have to know that machine. Okay, know that CNC machines. So in that case we have to first dismantle the machines, we have to remove all the components. Okay, then we have to know each and every part of the CNC machine, so that will give you the physical stress. Okay, until and unless you will dismantle a product, you will know each and every component of a product, so you will not be skilled enough to work with that machine. So this is the important part, that you are designer. So as a designer, it is your beauty, or it is your skill, that how you can design a product so that every generation can use that product with a very little bit of skill. Okay, so that user friendliness should be very much present in that design. Now psychology. So what is the psychology? Experimental psychologists who study people at work to provide data on such things like human sensory capacities. Okay, psychrometer performance, human decision making, human error rates, selection test and procedures, learning and training. Okay, so in order to make a person psychologically very strong, so these particular things are important, like learning and training. So that is why when you are going to be engineer, okay, so after going out from your college, so everybody will work for a for a organization, okay, for a particular company. So if anyone who is now working, he is now posted in a workshop, so obviously he has to work with some machines. Now before working with that machine, he has to be he will be learned by the, or he will be trained by that organization, so that it will be easy enough for him to operate that machine based on the informations, based on the training modules that he has gained from his organization at the very beginning when he has just joined. So it will be like 6 months or 1 year of training period. So during that training period, he will be totally accustomed with that machine. Now anthropometry, so what is that? An applied branch of anthropology concerned with the measurement of physical features of the people. Measure how tall we are, how far we can reach, how wide our hips are, how our joints flex, how our bodies move. Okay, so we see that our this is absolutely flexibility of our body, how we can operate a machine, how our body is become very much flexible to work with a machine. So this comes under the concept of anthropometry. Okay, now applied physiology, what is that? Concern the vital process such as cardiac function, respiration, oxygen consumption, okay, electromyography activity, and the response of this vital process to work, stress and environmental influences. Okay, so these are all different biological terms. Just you have to go through and you have to use your own thought, own view to write down. Okay, no, that is not hard and fast rule. Once again I am saying that you have to remember just the important points. When you can remember the important points, and rest of the parts you can just write down as per your own idea, as per your own statement, or whatever you are thinking on this particular topic, you can write down that. There is no issue that you have to use only those parts which are written for this particular study material. Like we see communication between man and machine. So this is the important part, what I have told. So there must be a chain, there must be relation between man, machine and working environment. So like this, so how a communication can be established between the user and the machine. Like he is the user, okay, and he is working with a laptop or any particular machine component. Okay, it may be a desktop, it may be any hand grinder or a hand tool, anything else. This particular machine can be anything else. Okay, now this operator, this person is working with that process. So here we see, so he is giving some instruction to the machine, and machine as an output, it gives out some information to this particular person. And what happened, that the person analyze that data, and once again if there is any mistake, so obviously he will rectify that, and the corrective action should be once again sent to the machine control. Okay, so here we see a closed loop. This is the closed loop is established. And how this loop, how long this loop will be going on? This loop will be going on unless and until the error will be completely rectified. So this is called the closed loop control system. You know that what is the open loop and closed loop? You know that in the closed loop control system, if there is any error persist, so that error will be gone as a feedback signal. And once again, if the until and unless the error is completely modified, until and unless the error become absolutely zero, the loop will be completely carried on. Okay, now this figure shows the man machine closed loop system. A machine has display unit and control unit. So this is the display unit, this is the control unit. A man or user receives the information from the machine display through the sense organ. He or she then takes the corrective action on the machine control using the hands or feet. This man-machine closed loop system is influenced by the working environment factors such as lighting, noise, temperature, humidity, air circulation, etc. Okay, so as I have told you, there is a circulation, or there is a chain of data transmission between the man and machine. But there is also one important factor, that is the working environment. Okay, if the working environment is not comfortable, so it will not be very much fruitful for him to work for a longer period of time with that particular machine. So it is very necessary that the working environment should be very much comfortable for him to work with for a long time with that particular machine. So that working environment depends, like if there is any noise, so it will not be good enough for him to work continuously with a concentrated mind. Okay, so noise, there should not be any kind of noise, there should not be any kind of lighting reflections. Okay, the temperature should be very much comfortable. Okay, humidity, air circulations, all these things are comfortable enough so that the man can carry on his activity with that machine for a long time without feeling any interruption or any obstructions. Next, ergonomic considerations in design of display. How is that? The basic objective in the design of display is to minimize the fatigue to the user. That means, what is fatigue? Fatigue means, if I am continuously taking your classes, okay, I am continuously teaching you, so obviously after taking 3 or 4 classes I will become the very much tired and exhausted. So this will create a fatigue within me, that I am not no longer interested to take your classes, because I from today from 6 a.m. I am taking your classes continuously, so I am extremely tired, I cannot take any more classes. So this is the fatigue stage. Okay, so how to remove that fatigue stage? So this process, like design of display means, like if this is the display of the machine, the display should be very much beautiful, or display should be very much comfortable enough for me, for the operator also, like he is continuously working in that with that machine. So design of display should be made in such a way that it will not create any fatigue with him. Okay, now in the broad sense we can say that ergonomic considerations in the design of display are as follows. Like, the scale should be clear and legible, this is very important. Now if you are working with a vernier gauge, okay, or any screw gauge, okay, vernier calipers, now what happened after working for a longer period of time, if you notice that this vernier scale has become some scaling on the weather scale or anything else that has falls on the display of the vernier, so it will not be legible enough for you to work with, so it will create a fatigue within you. Okay, you will not feel good, you will be annoyed. Oh, after working for a long period of time, I see that there is a scale that, or any particular weather thing that works on the particular that sets up on the display of the vernier scale, so it doesn't become legible enough. Okay, so you have to work minutely to find out the measured data, so that may annoy you, that may create any annoyance. Okay, so this will create a fatigue within you. So in order to avoid that fatigue, you have to ensure that the scale should be clear and legible. Like, these are the scales. Okay, these scales should be clear and legible. The size of the numbers of the letter on the scale should be taken appropriately. Okay, like if the size of the letters is very small, so you cannot get interested to find out the measured data. Now if the scale font size, if the letter font size are very higher, or it becomes lucrative, so obviously you will feel comfortable to work with. Okay, now the pointer should have a knife edge with a mirror in a dial to minimize the parallax error. Obviously you know the parallax error, so there should not be any chance of creating the parallax error, okay, while taking the reading. The scale should be divided in a linear progression such as 0 to 10, 10 to 20, then 30, and not as 0 to 5, then 25, then 45. That means this is absolutely uneven way. Okay, the scale division should be uniformly, okay, or even method, like 10, 0 to 10, 20, 30. That means arithmetic, using the arithmetic progression. But it is arranged like a haphazard way. First it starts with 0, then 5, then 25, then 50, then 100. So this is not giving you a very comfortable situation, so obviously it will create some fatigue. Now the number of subdivisions between the number divisions should be as less as possible. Like, if this is the reading, okay, this is 0, this is 5. Now within that 0 to 5 you have divided the subdivisions like 100. So it is not very useful for the operator to just look at the measurement minutely, because it is having the 100 number of divisions only within the 0 to 5. So it will become very difficult for the operator to get out the measured dimension. Okay, so this will create a exhaust within you, or it will create a fatigue. Now the number should be in clockwise direction on a circular scale, from left to right on a horizontal scale, and from bottom to top on a vertical scale. This is very important thing. Here you see the numbering, the starting of a number like 0, 1, 2. How it will be? It will start like a clockwise. Here you see how it is that clockwise, like 0, this is 10, 20, 30, 40. Here you see, so arrangement is in the clockwise direction. Okay, for the circular scale, here this is the circular scale, and from left to right to a horizontal scale. Here you see this is the horizontal scale, so left to right, at the very left you see 0, then 1, then 2. So from left to right the arrangement should be there, and for the vertical scale the arrangement should be from bottom to top, like at the bottom it should be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, like this. Okay, so if you follow this particular design of displays, okay, in that manner, so it will not create any exhaust, or it will not create any fatigue for the operator. Then ergonomic considerations in design of control. So in the control, so we have already gone through the concept of design of display, but what about design of control? So here we see that ergonomic considerations in the design of control are as follows. Like the control device should be logically positioned and easily accessible. Okay, now control means it's just a regulator. Okay, it's just a simple regulator. Like if you are trying to increase the speed of the fan, ceiling fan, obviously there will be some regulator. Now if you see the TV remote is also a control that is available in your hand. Okay, now if that remote has some problem, if you are trying to change the volume, trying to increase the volume of the TV, or if you are changing the different channels, okay, by using that remote, but that if that particular part is not working suitably, so you will become the exhausted. Oh, if you become the fatigue, oh, my TV is not working, my channel is not going. So what will happen, that from the next day you will not go to watch the TV anymore, obviously. So this is very important. From the control device itself, the control device shall be very much skilled, or shall be very much good enough to work for a operator without creating any fatigue. Okay, the control operation should involve minimum and smooth movements. So if you see, if in your TV remote there are thousands of operations, okay, thousands of controls, so what happen, it will give you an annoyance. Okay, if you know, you will try to use the TV no longer. So the control options should be as minimum as possible, and also it should be very much user friendly. The control operation should consume minimum energy. Okay, that means if you want to change the setup of your TV, and what happened, you have just go insert in a particular control, then you have inserted another setup, you have gone through another setup, so one setup, there is another setup, there is another setup. So like this chain of setups should be avoided. That means by spending very minimum amount of energy, you can operate that device. The portion of the control device which comes in contact with the user hand should be incompatibly with anatomy of the human hand. That means the design of the for that particular what happened, the remote control. Okay, so its design should be very much comfortable, like a person who is just keeping that the remote within his hand. So it should be placed on his hand in a proper way. If that remote device is not keeping, or if it is not positioned on his hand suitably, so it will be difficult enough for him to operate. The proper color should be used to control devices and background, so as to give the requirement psychological effect. Okay, so color gives you psychological effect. Now if the remote is made of black and white, so it is good. Now if that remote is made of in such a way that its color is very odd, so it will not give you a pleasure to operate. Okay, now the shape and the size of the control device should be such that the user is encouraged to handle it in such a way that to exert the required force, but not excessive force damaging the control of the machine. Okay, now what happened, like after operating the remote for a long period of time, so its battery will become completely exhausted. Okay, now what we generally do when the remote battery has been exhausted, we push it, or we just used to give it a very high amount of force, so it will once again work. But this thing will not creating the same thing as if the remote not functioning well. So obviously we'll have to check whether its battery is working or not. Unless and otherwise, why should I give additional force to the remote? So what happen if I give additional force continuously to that remote? So it once one time will come, it will become damaged. Okay. So that is the thing, that we have to apply very gentle amount of force, very little amount of force, so that the control device should work. Now the working environment. The working environment affects significantly the man-machine relationship. As I have told you, the effect of the efficiency and possibly the health of the operator. Okay. Now if the environment is very difficult, okay, like if person is working in a hazardous environment, where a completely in a atmosphere where nitrous oxide, okay, like different H2S gases, like hazardous gases are continuously coming out. So it will give him the very uncomfortable situation, very unpleasant situation. So he may become sick, or even any particular situation or any particular environment that is very much accident prone. Okay. So obviously the operator will not get the keen interest to work in that. Okay. So the working environment should be very much familiar for the operator, or very much comfortable zone for the operator. That there should not be any hazardous environment, there should not be any accident prone zone. Only then it will give him a charm to work. Okay. Now the amount of light that is required to enable the task to be performed effectively depends upon the nature of the task, the cycle time, the reflective characteristic of the equipment involved in the vision of the operator. Okay. So obviously the amount of light, okay, if the light beam is heavily focused, so it will create some problem for the operator to work. So the amount of light you are projecting in the environment should be very comfortable enough. The intensity of light in the surrounding area should be less than the task area. This makes the task area very focused of the attention. Okay. Now what happens, you are working in an atmosphere. So in that atmosphere, if the focus of the light beam is not as intense, whereas the external light beams are coming in that particular machine shop, and the external source of light is very much focused and very much highly intense. So what will happen, it will break the attention of the operator. So operator will become the less tired if the lighting and the color schemes are arranged so that there is a gradual change in the brightness and colors from the task area to the surrounding. The task area should be located such that the operator can occasionally relax by looking over the task area towards the distinct object or surface. Okay. So obviously this is the important thing. There must be some relaxing environment that should be provided to the operator. The distinct object or surface should not be so bright that the operator's eyes take time to adjust the changes when he or she again look at the task. Okay. Now glare often causes the discomfort and also reduces the visibility. Hence it should be minimized if possible, eliminated by the careful design of the lighting sources and their position. So obviously we have to while designing, we'll have to check once again the lighting sources and their positions, where the lighting sources are there. Okay. Now if you are designing any workshop area, okay, if you are working as a architect and if you have designed any sources of light and its positions, so obviously you have to keep one thing in your mind, that the particular glare means a very bright light should not be reflected on that machine, so that it will not break the attention of that operator. Now noise. The noise at the workplace causes the annoyance and damage to hearing and reduces the work efficiency. As you know, the high pitched noises are more annoying than the low pitched noise. The noise caused by the equipment that a person is using is very less annoying than that the causes by the equipment being used by the another person, because the person has the option of stopping the noise caused by his own equipment at least intermittently. Okay. The industrial safety rules specify the acceptable noise levels for different workplaces. If the noise level is too high, it should be reduced at the source by maintenance, by the use of the silencers, and by placing the vibrating equipment on the isolating mounts. Okay. So there must be some noise removing tools, okay, that should be easily available in the factory shop area. So if there is any high amount of noise, so that should be reduced very gentle way, and also it should be coming down to a level as per the decibel level as mentioned by the Environment Safety Protection Law and the industrial safety rules. Further protection can be obtained by placing the sound insulating wall. This is important thing, acoustic. This is called the acoustic. Okay. Sound means this comes from the word acoustic. So acoustics should be very much cheerful, okay, so that any extra source of noise should not be there. So acoustic insulated walls should be there. If required, earplugs should be provided to the operator to reduce the effect of noise. Okay. Now, if a worker is working in front of a very heavy machinery where a continuous generation of noise is there, if that noise is beyond the permissible range of the decibel as provided by the industrial safety law, so he or she should be provided a earplug. So what happened during the operation of the machine, he or she should wear that earplug. So it will not create a very discomfort situation for that worker. Okay. Now the temperature also a very important factor, where you see that for an operator to perform the task efficiently, he should neither feel hot nor cold. Okay. When the heavy work is done, the temperature should be relatively lower, and when the light work is done, the temperature should be relatively higher. The optimum requirement temperature is decided by the nature of the work. The deviation of the temperature from the optimum temperature required reduces the efficiency of the operator, humidity and air circulation. Okay. So here you see that temperature. So obviously temperature should be neither hot nor cool. Okay. Now in an environment, in a working environment, if the temperature is very comfortable, so it will give the operator or any worker gives the immense pleasure, so he can operate for a long time in that atmosphere. Okay. Now if the temperature is not at that level, so it will give him a uncomfortable situation, and he will lose his mind, he will lose his attention, and of course it will give him much fatigue. Okay. Now humidity and air circulation, as you know, humidity has a little effect on the efficiency on the operator as ordinary temperature. However, at high temperature it affects significantly the efficiency of the operator. That means at the high humidity the operator's efficiency will be lost. Now at high temperature the low humidity may cause the discomfort due to drying the throat. Okay. If the humidity is very less, so obviously there will be a dry environment. Now if the humidity is very high, so it will be also be a discomfort situation, as it will create continuous and sweating, and in an ill ventilated or crowded room. Okay. So sweat should not come out, the atmosphere should be very much comfortable as per the concept of the humidity. Okay. The proper air circulation should necessary to minimize the effect of high temperature and humidity. So at the very last we see that proper air circulation should be provided to keep the humidity under control. Okay. So these are the all difference types of references, that from this particular source I have taken my study materials. Okay, from this particular source. If you visit that source, if you type it in the URL, so you can find that Darshan book, that is very important, that is very interesting book. So these are all about my lectures for today. We'll start with a new topic in the next day. Okay, thank you all.